Welcome to Sparking Success with Aaron Opalewski. Aaron brings you conversations that spark innovation, cultivate leadership skills, and pave the way for your business success. In each episode, we delve into the dynamic world of business and leadership, exploring strategies, insights, and success stories that fuel your professional journey.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sparking Success. I'm your host, Aaron Opalewski, and this is the show where we're going to talk about action and real-life things that have been accomplished, never about theory. Today, we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is training and development. And why do I say that? Well, the purpose of our company is to help people grow. But I'm not here to brag about how good we are at it. I'm actually here to tell you about all of our failures right now on this, or just areas where we really need to improve. And so I'm really proud that our purpose is to help people to grow. I'm really proud of what we've done from an organic standpoint of promoting people, advancing them, helping them grow their careers, helping them grow as people. But we also fall short on a ton of it. And we have a lot to work on with it, a lot to continue improving on. And as the company evolves and grows, our training and development, our communication, the way we're teaching our leaders to train and develop others, it evolves and it has to advance and we have to get better. And there's parts of that in the day-to-day that are frustrating. And there's parts of that, while they might be frustrating, you can look at the perspective and like, hey, this is part of what makes what you do fun, because you're doing some of the same things, but you're doing it at a different scale, you're doing it at a different complexity, and where you might be able to get away with some things at different stages of that as it advances and gets more complex, you have to hone that skill set. And I think what's exciting about that is it just shows you that what's important is that we're always improving, we're always getting better, we're always trying to evolve, because when we stop that process, you're going to stall out. And so training and development, what do I want to talk about on it today? I think a bottleneck for us right now in this, and this is really the main point today, bottleneck for us right now at Spark on that is that we have a lot of leaders that have organically built themselves up. Some of our executives that have been here for a long time were great doers before they were leaders. And, that's pretty normal that you're going to be good at doing something and good at part of a job before you elevate into a leadership role. And then usually, I think you can have natural leadership characteristics, but most of us aren't born natural leaders. If anybody, it's something that's developed over time and you have to work on it constantly. And so where some of our organic leaders they've done an exceptional job of being the top doers in their area. They hit the highest levels of rankings. They're go-to people. People believe in them. They lead by example, all those things. That was kind of like an ante. And then they're having to work on their leadership. Well, we've moved to a stage where we have a lot of other people that have been elevated kind of, I don't like saying below them, but like after those initial leaders. And some of our executives that have been here, specifically, I'm going to call them out right now. And I mean, this is huge compliments, but you got Allie on our operations side. We've worked together for over a decade. Fletcher and I have been working together for over 15 years, and they're both really good at getting stuff done. They're executors. They're go-to people. And there's great things about that. But something that we're working on and learning, and they're learning and I'm learning too, is watching how people come to them. And then some of our new leadership is challenging us on making sure we don't do all the work for people or that we don't enable that. And we've known that this is a thing. I think we've even talked about it in past episodes. It's like, hey, I can't have someone come to me with no solutions and then just save them and do all their work for them. But we've done so much, over the history of Spark with training and development, teaching recruiting, teaching sales, teaching the overall business, teaching safety, teaching this, teaching that, which I think some of the best people that could train, entry-level recruiters, salespeople, operations people within staffing in the world. Whether they're the best at it or not, they've been in the trenches and got really good in the trenches, and then they're willing to give that hip-to-hip training. So I think what Fletcher and Allie have been able to give, and some other people too, but let's stick on them, what they've been able to do from a standpoint of like teaching someone about the day-to-day and how they get really good at their job, it's amazing. Well, where we've seen a lot of success with that, like hip-to-hip training and development and some of our training classes that we've done, we've also, as we continue to grow, run into roadblocks where it's like frustration is, we've done this training 20 times. Why aren't they latching on to this? Why aren't they still doing this? And, why aren't they like taking the initiative and doing it themselves? Especially when, core value of ours, find a way to deliver value. It's another way of saying take initiative. It's like, man, like, why are we struggling with this to a point, or why can't we kind of take the next step on that? And some of our new leadership coming in has pointed out that too much, we're in the trenches, and then we'll let people come in and then we save them on giving them the answers, doing the work, fixing the work, doing something because it's faster for us to do it right now than to push for them to come back with a different solution. And then a couple key framework questions. This is what I'm working on too and what I want to focus on. So if you're in any kind of stage where you're leading someone else, what you find out pretty quick, like if you hire someone and you're bringing them on to take on some responsibility within your company, and you're doing that to make things easier on you or move more streamlined, well, before you, that's very true that you can get there. And you can get there through spending time with them, tools, technology, AI now. Like there's a lot of things you can do to help speed that process along. But at the start of that process, it's always going to be more work before it's less, because you have to make, and it's not about it being more, it's an investment in time in working with those people that are coming in. But it's harder, it's not easier. And even when they get fully up to speed, things shift. So, because then as the leader, you're responsible for overseeing what they're doing, and you have your own work too. So, key framework as when people are coming to them or coming to me, and when I say them, this is something I'm working on improving too, because any kind of shortcomings they've had, they're either learning from me or they're learning that it's acceptable from me. It's one of those two things. Either way, that's my fault. And that's something that I gotta, evolve and grow on. So, but the key frameworks that we're taking away from some of the new executives on this would be to ask a couple questions. That's usually a good place to go, whether it's sales, communication with people, is, you ask questions and you listen more than you talk. So in this case, what is a big question when someone comes to me with a problem, or when they come to Allie or Fletcher with a problem, what are we working on right now? Like, well, let's ask them, hey, what's your plan? What do you think? What solutions are you bringing me? And if they don't have any, rather than doing it for them, having them go back, think about what they think is the right thing to do, and then come back with a recommended solution, or maybe two. Then you have a situation where you go with that. They don't even come back because they figure it out. Or you help them tweak their situation and then guide them through it. What we're all watching, I'd just say as a company, but, specifically Allie, Fletcher, myself, is not just running in and doing it because we can do it right. We can do it more efficiently. We can do it faster. We can make sure that, we push a sale through, or, take care of this thing right this second. Now there's times where we have to do that, but I think our default go-to on this is to get it done, because all three of us are problem solvers. We're executors. We're people that want to service the customer. We understand the urgency to that. But any gaps that we have within the company, we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and understand that it's really our failure to push our people to grow in this area. And I've spent a lot of time reflecting on it because this is our purpose as a company. It's like, man, I just got to do better with this. I've challenged them to do better with it. And it comes back to that. Like, this is our purpose as a company. And what we've done has got us to this point. But we're trying to double in size inside of the next 3 years. And we must do better at this if we're going to get people to develop where we need them to be at. We have to do this part better. The good part about that is we control our ability to ask better questions, hold people accountable, have them come with solutions, let them dent the car, but don't, total it. And really step out there and make sure that when they're thinking about what they have going on, they're not running to us as a safety blanket, but they're empowered to lead their area and come up with solutions and go out and try those things. They're thinking that way first. Now, that's not a disregard for like, oh, you just figure it out, but we need to be more of a guide in that process than a savior. And I'm reading some parenting book right now, and it's very similar in that, like, hey, what do you want to do as a parent? You want everything. You love your kids. You want everything to go right. What is something that can really damage their development, their ability to build up confidence, and just some like self-esteem would be you coming in and saving them on everything. You got to allow them to try, allow them to fail. Obviously, you want them to be safe. You don't want to, do anything extreme on that where they put themselves in harm's way. But if they walk into some adversity, they experience some adversity and they have to overcome that, that's a part of the development process. And that's the same in parenting. And as I'm reading that parenting book, I'm like, this is exactly what we're working on within the work side of things too, and the development of our people. And it's funny that, of course, I'd come up with that concept one because I'm always thinking about business as well. But when I talk about leaders' relationship with someone that they're working with, one of the biggest things in an interview that I look for in a leader would be if they make any comments around like, oh yeah, I have to babysit people. Huge red flag for me. And I know I've said it on an episode before. Huge red flag. As a leader of other people, as someone that wants to be a leader, wants to be a good teammate, but specifically wants to elevate, you're guiding and you're helping a team. You're never babysitting. That's not the right context or mindset to it. You're like a parent to the situation, and you're helping guiding them and developing them and grow as a person, as a professional. So this is what we're focused on in training and development, is ask good questions, specifically for a few takeaways that are tangible. What's your plan? What solutions have you thought of or implemented already? What do you think we should do? What do you have for me that you've already worked on with this that you want to run back and forth with me, but empower them to ultimately make the decision. And this is, again, not me talking at the camera. This is me talking to myself. But hey, don't come in and save everyone on everything just because you can get it across the finish line or you can get it done right this second. That's going to continue to create the situation, whereas you're adding more people, that gets more and more overwhelming. So Aaron, or whatever leader out there, if you want to continue to grow this thing, you really have to challenge yourself. You have to challenge, those leaders that have seen you operate this way, and they've also operated that way for a period of time, and it's taken them to this point because they're really hard workers. They care about what they're doing. They care about their people. But if they want to get to the next gear on that, they have to get better at asking these questions. They have to get better at pushing and evaluating the leaders that they promote on how they can do with this. And that's what they're going to have to do to hit the next gear. That's what we have to do to hit the next gear as a company. I hope something in that stands out to you or you can use within your team, whether it's at home in your family, if it's in business, if it's a sports team. I think it can apply to any of those things. Thank you. I'd ask that you share this with at least one person, and have a great day.